What's going on YouTube? This your boy Perfect Cell with another video, and right about now I'm going to start a new series within this channel called Recognition, which is going to consist of me shedding lights on things that the masses either don't know or don't remember, like artists, video games, albums, and movies. I figure I do this because there's a lot of gold out there and people often go for the glitter. And today I'm going to talk about a video game that people don't often talk about, or I hear people never talk about at all, but it's one of my personal faves. I'm talking about the late great Urban Reign by Namco. So, I know you guys are probably wondering, how did I find out about this game? Well, I remember I was 11 years old, my cousin came over from out of town, and he told me all about the game that was like Tekken. And I'm thinking, so it's a fighting game. Mind you, this is a time where fighting games were at its peak, and some of my favorite games were fighting games. So that statement already caught my attention alone. So I was like, yeah, put it in.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm talking about the game, you pervert. Get your minds out the gutter. Y'all nasty. But anyways, as I played the game, I was instantly blown away on how advanced it was. See, in my opinion, this should have been how most fighting games were played these days, and should have been designed. I mean, tag teams, free for all, counters, but I'm giving a little bit too away of the gameplay. Let me just get into it and talk about the plot. And I'm gonna just warn you right now, there's gonna be some spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, click off this video. You ain't gotta watch the rest of it, but if you don't care, then stick around. This is one of a kind. Namco took the tournament-based plot of Tekken and took it to the streets that is Urban Reign. They was like, man, screw the tournament, screw a one-on-one battle. We finna have an all-out brawl up in here. That's what I'm talking about. And can we please get a round of applause for the opening cinematic? Can we please do? Watch this.
Nobody's innocent. Justice, it's an illusion. Uncertainty is the only sure thing. Uncertainty creates fear, and fear creates money. Green Harbor, just another urban labyrinth. The El Dorado, full of fear to cash in on. Gangs rush in to get their hands on that gold. But those days are over now. My name is Brad Hawk. I'm a professional. I do things my way. I answer to no one. That's why the bad guys fear me. And the good ones loathe me. That's who I am.
Are you freaking kidding me? That still look good. So the main character of this plot is Brad Hawk. And honestly, I think he's probably the most mysterious protagonist in video game history. We hardly know much about him, and he is a former game member. It's unclear in what game he was. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the opening cinematic, he said he was part of the El Dorado. I don't know. I don't know much about the El Dorados. Like, Like I said, I haven't played this game in so long. I probably have to do more research on it than what I already did. I kind of like Brad's attitude. He pretty much does anything his way. He's like a renegade for life. And he aids the boss of Chinatown, Sheng Yang Li, who we will cover later on in the video. Now, beginning of story mode, there's this red-haired punker looking kid named KG. He was kidnapped by the game that's called the Outlaws, I believe. And he's part of the gang called the Zaps. Yeah, I know that's a corny gang name, but bear with us. And now the Zaps think that Sheng Ying has something to do with KG getting kidnapped. And well, that's not good for business. Her business. She offers Brad money to deal with the gangs all around town, and pretty soon, the Zaps leaders Dwayne gets together all the gangs in the Green Harbor and starts taking down Sheng Ying's whole empire, whole organization. But luckily, Brad's force is way too much for each gang to handle. Sheng Ying's on his right. And after a while, Dwayne gets a little agitated and decides to confront Brad himself. And when that didn't work, Shang Ying tells Dwayne that she did not kidnap KG at all. And then later on, we're in for a big surprise. Stay tuned for this. I mean, watch this. I'm tripping, my fault. I just got up early in the morning.
Yo, get back here! KG! KG! You hear me? KG!
Bro, I'll be lying right now if I said this scene wasn't dope. How did this not get a sequel? But anyway, this gang that kidnapped KG, who I already mentioned before, were the Outlaws. And they are destroying the whole city, all of Green Harbor. Their leader name is Napalm 99, who spent most of his life in the penitentiary. And that's where he formed the Outlaws when he gathered up a bunch of his buddies. After we defeat Napalm 99, his goons in the Shadow Platoon Squad, yes, we're going up another gang too called the Shadow Platoon Squad. Who is the leader of the gang? Mackenzie. I think I'm missing another name. I think it's his last name, but I'm gonna just call him Mackenzie for right now. That's all I remember him by. And not to mention some of Napalm 99's goons. Well, I don't even know if that's his goons or anything, but some of the people that we had to fight against are on our side, along with some other people that we fight against in the second chapter. But we'll touch more on that later. Eventually, the Outlaws and the Shadow Platoons join these triads called the Mushkin Kais. I hope I got their name right. I don't want the Asian people correcting me. I'm not making fun of you. This is how I think how it's pronounced. Don't sue me. But anyways, the Mushkin Kai, they're natural born killers. And the leader is some samurai named Shinkai. And boy, he is mean with a sword, let me tell you. And it turns out he's doing deals with my man Borden, the mayor of the whole town, who caused this ruckus in the first place. But at the very end of the story mode, we get to fight Borden. And he's really weak. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. I forgot. Borden, don't get me wrong, Borden's like the weakest character up there, but he got a gun. Yes, I kid you not, he has a gun. So y'all really gotta pay attention when you fight this dude. Well, I wouldn't call it a fight at all as soon as you get a hit on him, because as soon as you get a hit on him, that's it. But I'm not gonna say more about the story. I think I covered like an appropriate amount. But anyways, enough about the whole story. We got a whole gameplay and roster to cover, my guys. Let's get to it. So there's Brad Hawk, who I've already covered earlier in the video, and several other characters. Now, I'm only going to go over the main characters and the bosses. I'm not going to go over the henchmen, as they're not really relevant at all, really. No offense. So if I miss anybody, it's because of the henchmen, really. You have Sheng Ying Li, a swordswoman who owns Chinatown as a family business for generations. And she's, well to put it, pretty much Brad's boss. Don't get me wrong, like I said before, Brad is a renegade. What I mean by Brad's boss, I mean like she pretty much pays Brad to do whatever she wants done. Then you have Dwayne, leader of the Zaps, the most notorious gang of the Green Harbor. I don't really know much about Dwayne other than the fact that he grew up without a family, really. Oh, and obviously he loves the color blue. Apparently the term tone it down doesn't really apply to him. You know what I'm saying? KG is an orphan who was taken in by the Zaps. And pretty much him and Dwayne are like brothers. Then you have Glenn Klugger. I can't pronounce his last name. And I'm the one to talk because my last name is hard to pronounce. Glenn Kluger is leader of the biker gang known as the Hell's Legions. Now, is it me or does it seem like ripping off the biker gang that exists now called the Hell's Angels? But anyways, Glenn Cougar has sort of a Stone Cold Steve Austin vibe. If Steve Austin had a mullet. Then you have Kanadashi, who is a karate master from Japan, who moved to the States to live the American dream. Grim is the town's boxer, who doesn't really talk much. He just lets his fist does the talking. And then you have Jake Hudson, a former wrestler who now earns his living as one of Glenn's elite goons. Tong Yoon is a Muay Thai champ who is now in cahoots with different gangs all throughout the city, as his fame is long gone. And then you have Chris, a middle-class capoeira student who was formerly working with the Outlaws, I believe. Do Suck, I think that's how you pronounce his name. But anyways, he's a Taekwondo master who is obsessed with golf because, well, why not? Alex Steiner is a former athlete who loves to fight. Shoot, I hate to go to the bar with him. Napalm 99 is the ringleader of the Outlaws, and he is very powerful in more ways than one, as he gets his pleasure out of violence. He's pretty much the Suge Knight of this video game. Then you have Mackenzie, an army dischargee who is the leader of the Shadow Platoon, and he eventually formed an alliance with the Outlaws. Side note, his goons were the ones who kidnapped KG and beat him up. And then you have the Triad Shinkai, who is well known throughout the underworld. And apparently, Shun Ying's father and him were sworn enemies, as he runs the Mush Shinkai. And then you have Lin Feng, who is Shun Ying's brother, who evidently betrayed the family by being in cahoots with the Mush Shinkai. And then you have the former wrestler Golem, who is a killer. And let me tell you, this son of a gun is huge. And if he's coming after you, you better not be lacking. And last but not least, you have Borden. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I already mentioned Borden. Last but not least, you have Martial Law and Paul Phoenix. Yes, you heard me correctly. Martial Law and Paul Phoenix from Tekken are in this game. And they are not to be taken lightly. But I guess that's what you would expect from Tekken fighters. All in all, I think this cast is pretty cool, as pretty much every character is shrouded in mystery. A mystery that could be revealed if, I don't know, if Namco makes a sequel of this. All right, I'm sorry. But come on, Namco, we need an Urban Ring too, man. Now that we got the characters out of the way, it's time to cover this gameplay, man, what you all been waiting for. I really think this gameplay is pretty unique, as it takes a whole bunch of styles and pretty much put it into one game. And boy, I tell you, they do not make fighting games like this anymore. But anyways, let me start off with the different modes. First, I want to start off with story mode, which I think has 3 chapters to it. And obviously you get to play as Brad like I mentioned before. First chapter is when you battle every gang that Dwayne pays to take you out. After that chapter is over, you face the Outlaws and then the Shadow Platoons. Up to that point to the second chapter, you mostly gonna have a partner with you to fight. You have like maybe, I think it's like 10 different fighters. I haven't really like gone over it yet. I haven't played this game in a while, but I think it's 10. Don't quote me on it though. Then at the third chapter, you go against every gang that's going up against the city. It's pretty much like the Green Harbor versus the world on the third chapter. And of course, at the end, you face Borden, which I already mentioned before. But after this story is done, guess what? You get Martial Law and Paul Phoenix. Yeah, that's right. Martial Law and Paul Phoenix. Wait a minute, I already mentioned that before. But yeah, you unlock them after you're done with story. Multiplayer mode, or should I say versus mode, is awesome, as you have regular versus mode, destruction mode, or first to destroy objects win mode. Yeah, it might sound corny, but let me tell you something, this is not a disappointment at all. Okay, I might have to eat my words here. Yeah, weapon battle is a little corny. And when I mean weapon battle, is pretty much first one who strikes you with a weapon wins. Like I said before, if they ever make a sequel to this game, this could be a hiccup that they can fix. That way they can get better ratings on the next sequel. If they ever make a sequel, now let me stop. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. But please, Neko, I'm begging you, please make another sequel. All right. I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. I know. So you have the regular versus health battle, and then you can have the battle whoever takes the least damage when the time runs out wins. It's kind of like Super Smash Brothers. Now let me rephrase that. Super Smash Brothers is whoever like dies the most when the time ends wins. I mean, dies the most when the time ends loses. My bad. But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. And you can fight with up to 4 people in the game, like I mentioned before. You know, whether it's a triple threat, a tag team, free for all, you name it. You have free mode where you can play a previous mission that you played before. And you have challenge mode, which is kind of like an arcade mode. I think that's what it is. I haven't played much challenge mode, really. But for what I did on my research, it kind of looks like an arcade. Now let's get to the fights. Now, see, it's nice how like where every character has like their own unique style of weapon, but every character can get a weapon, really. It doesn't really have to be their special weapon. It could just be a weapon nonetheless. Oh, and the defense tactics is very challenging, but in a good way. When you're fighting someone, you really got to be on your toes, because a lot of these attacks, you won't even be able to see it coming. And when you about to hit square in reverse, it's already too late, baby. And then you have special gauges to where you can either use your special moves or enhance your fighting assets. And every fighter comes with a unique fighting style and fighting assets as well. And like I mentioned before, not every fighter, but most fighters have like their preferred weapon. Now, there's a rumor going on that there's a cheat where you can make a 2-player story mode. But player 1 has to be near player 2 to have a mutual attention. But I swear, it is all worth it, bro. Okay, let's get into the results and ratings. The results and ratings was not so good. And honestly, I bet to differ on that one. They rated it a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10? I'm sorry, man, but that's an understatement. I mean, sure, its style was a little outdated. It wasn't much variety. But this is the first installment of his franchise, so of course it's not going to have that much variety if it's his first game. Think about it. Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal Kombat has the least characters in its roster in the entire series. I think it was the same with Tekken 2. No, not Tekken 2. I mean the first Tekken. I meant to say Tekken 2, like T-O, not the number 2. You know what I mean. Anyways, honestly, if they were to make a sequel of this, I feel like everything that they had in this urban ring, they could have enhanced it to the next one. Which I think they should make a sequel of this, like I've been saying for the past like 3 minutes of this video. Well, it's been more than 3 minutes, but you get what I'm saying. Make a sequel, Namco. Now, okay, let me chill. But anyways, this is your boy, Perfect Cell. This concludes this video. I'm Perfect Cell, and I'm Ghost. I know you listening. Make a sequel. I want to play a Urban Reign 2.